You want to get your offer to stand out above all the other offers that people are submitting on a house? I'm going to share with you strategies that I have been using to help get my clients their offer accepted and win bidding wars. You're not going to want to miss this one. Let's get started. Hey, if you're into all things real estate and all things about Bergen County, then welcome to my channel. That's what I talk about here every week. And by the way, my name's Jackie Baker and I'm with Coldwell Banker Realty, and I sell real estate here in Bergen County. So make sure you subscribe and also hit that notification bell. And if you like today's content, do me a favor, hit that like button. All right, so in this seller's market, I've been talking about this for months now. It's insane, and people are just beyond frustrated not getting their offers accepted. Well, I thought I would share with you some strategies that I have used, that I've helped my clients win bidding wars. Now, the only times we didn't win the bidding wars is because the price wasn't high enough. They just got outbid by a ridiculous number. But for the most part, these things that I've been using have been helping my clients get their offer to stand out and get accepted. So here we go. The first thing that I recommend is go in with your highest and best initially. Just do it. What a lot of people were doing before is they would just go and throw in an offer, usually at asking price, maybe a little bit below asking price. The purpose of that was they just assumed, oh, the seller's going to probably going to go to highest and best, so we'll just put that in and then we'll go in with our highest and best when the seller comes back to ask for it. Well, guess what? And I'm speaking from the experience of working with sellers as well. I had 2 listings recently where the sellers didn't want to do a bidding war. They didn't want highest and best. They were so overwhelmed with the amount of offers that came in, they just said, I'm just going to go with the highest offer that was submitted. And I'm seeing that happen with other sellers as well as I'm representing buyers. So don't assume that you're going to put an offer in and the seller's going to come back and ask for everyone's highest and best. It does not always happen. So go in with your highest and best number in terms. Come get a number in your head. Talk to your realtor, go through the comps, get an idea, and just throw it out there, because you never know. Seller may decide to go highest and best, give everybody the opportunity, but I'm seeing this trend a little bit more these days where the sellers are just going with the highest offer that comes in. So just go for it. Put your best offer forward. The next thing is you want to limit the inspection contingencies, or even waive the inspection contingency. I know, hear me out. I'm going to explain how to do that and be comfortable with it. So the sellers just get really nervous when it comes to the home inspection. We want to assure them that you're not going to nitpick on the little things. So if you want to say you're going to waive the home inspection, that's fine. But I would only recommend that if the seller provided a seller's disclosure and they put the dates or the ages of, say, the roof, the heating and cooling, the water heater, things of that nature. You want to see how old all these things are. And also, when you walk through the house, your realtor and you will be doing visual inspections of everything. So your realtor should be looking at, I know is what I do, I always try to look for the dates on the furnace, on the hot water heater. You don't find it so much on the central air units, but you would try to look for that. And sometimes you can just tell, and the central air unit is old. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But as long as you do a visual, you can see the dates for yourself of how old everything is. It gives you a little bit more peace of mind. So you can do your own inspection, which I recommend. Do your own inspection for your own knowledge, so you know what you're dealing with once you purchase the home, and also just for education, just to learn about all the components of the home. So that's what I would do. If you're going to waive the inspections, that's how I would handle that. Now, you can also limit the inspections. What do I mean by that? You're only doing inspections for structural and for environmental issues only. So this is telling the seller you're just looking for major problems, like any structural issues. For environmental, that means you're looking for any mold. If there's an oil tank on the property, if there's a septic system and a well, that obviously needs to get inspected too. So that's just, you're limiting it to those items only. So that's telling the seller you're not going to go back and say you need to recaulk the bathtub or you need to change the light bulb on the lamppost outside. It's just reassuring them that you're not going to go pick at these little things. Those are the only things that you're going to be looking at. And that one I recommend a lot to my clients. That seems to be the trend these days, where people are just limiting inspections to structural and environmental. Okay, next on my list, it's our favorite topic, the appraisal. waive the appraisal. Now, the only time I would suggest this to waive the appraisal is if you have the cash to cover that gap should the house underappraise. So you want to be able to cover the gap between the appraisal and the purchase price. That's the only time I would recommend that. And quite honestly, nowadays, appraisals aren't that much of an issue anymore because we're finally seeing the appraisals catch up to the market. However, sellers are still concerned. They're still worried about it, and I get it. So definitely waive the appraisal as long as you have that cash that you can put forward. It should it underappraise and you can cover that gap. This next strategy, listen up because this is a really important one. I did this with one of my buyers, and I also have it on one of my listings where the buyer is doing this. So offer a lease back to the seller after closing. So what that is saying is you're allowing the seller to live there and they're going to rent the house back from you and pay you rent. This way it gives the seller time to move on to their next home. Okay, and we're seeing this a lot now. A lot of sellers, they are having problems getting home, or it's taking a little bit longer for them to get into their next place. So giving them that breathing room and that flexibility, it's huge. And if you have that flexibility, say if you're renting or if you're living at home, or you have that flexibility, you don't have to move out of your current place and you can allow those sellers to live there. This is a big one, and I highly recommend if you're in that position to offer that to the seller, that they can lease it back from you. And the way the lease back works is then that's determined between the attorneys, and they'll actually come up with a separate contract or a lease. Or actually in New Jersey, it's known as use and occupancy. And they'll negotiate a rental fee, whether they break it down by day or they break it down by month, depending on how long the seller needs to live there. This is a beautiful one. I mean, it's my sellers right now they just got this offer, and that was offered to them, and amazing. This is a good one, so really consider putting that in your offer. And of course, another strategy is have a large down payment. Seriously, if you have 20%, or if you can even put a little bit more than 20% down, the more the better. Why? Because it's assuring the sellers you have skin in the game, and I have said this before time and time again. The more money you put down, the better you look. It just makes you stand out more. So if you can, do it, 20% or higher. All right, now you have learned all these great strategies to help you win that bidding war. How about you check out this video right over here? YouTube thinks you should watch it, so why don't you check it out? You might like it. Thank you so much for watching today. I am Jackie Baker with Coldwell Banker Realty, and I will see you next time.